One of the things that I don't hear people emphasize enough is how great it is to be a human. Not only how great it is to be a human, but how powerful it is to be a human. I've heard multiple stories and stuff through my life about women, a woman with her kid trapped under a car or something. And somehow this 150-pound lady finds the strength to lift the car up off of her child. I heard stories about tribes in the water and in the ocean and everything, to where these people spend more time in the water than on land. And because of that, their body has adapted and evolved in such a way that they can dive to depths where most people would need scuba gear and equipment. And they can hold their breath for enormous amounts of time. Also, even in the negative light, for people who have addictions and people who like smokers and stuff like that, people who smoke cigarettes, to make up for all of the chemicals that these people are putting in their body, the actual chemistry of their body changes to adapt to this habit. Now that's a negative, but when you look at the power of being a human, that's a power. Well, today I'm here to bring another superpower to your attention. Something that we all have the capability to do, but a lot of us either aren't aware of this or we don't know the practices to put in place to hone this ability. Now, which ability am I talking about today? I'm not talking about becoming bulletproof. I'm not talking about psychic abilities, even though I read that that's something we got too. But I'm simply talking about emotion. I'm simply talking about the power to feel however you want to feel, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance. That's literally a power of the human being. We have the ability as well as the authority to feel however it is we want to feel. And even though controlling your emotions and being in charge of how you feel when you want to feel this way, even though that's an innate ability, just part of being a human, most of us have never achieved it. And there's multiple reasons why that's the case. One of the reasons being lack of knowledge. One of the reasons being lack of knowledge. For most of us, when we were children, that's where it started. When we were children, a lot of us have probably said the line that so and so made us mad. And the reason that might not seem like much, but the reason that that is such a devastating line is because, for one, it speaks to what's going on in the mind. And what's going on in the mind at that time is a child putting into frame that someone else has control over how they feel. Now that's what makes that highly devastating, is because it's not just what you're saying, it's what you're saying being a reflection of how you're thinking. So that's one of the first things, is lack of knowledge. It's your emotions. You get to control how you feel. Another aspect of lacking knowledge when it comes to feeling how you want to feel is the fact that most people are unaware that emotions are not meant to be dwelled in. Now, shout out to Nero. I be watching some of Nero's videos and whatnot. Nero describes emotion as energy in motion. And I think that's a proper way to describe it. And what people don't realize is, regardless of the emotion, it takes energy to feel. It takes energy to tap into an emotion. It takes energy to express said emotion. It takes even more energy to dwell in that emotion. One of the things that one of the bits of knowledge that most people lack is that the default state of a human who is trying to be the best version of themselves is simply being at peace. Because peace is simply not described as an emotion. It's not characterized as that, nor is the behavior that comes along with peace the same type of behavior that comes along with emotion. Peace is simply a state of being, which is why it doesn't take energy to be at peace. It simply takes focus. Every other emotion, happiness, joy, sad, depressed, angry, irate, frustrated, all of these emotions take energy. It takes energy to feel them, energy to express them, energy to dwell in them. And not only do those things serve as evidence of lack of knowledge, but they also show a lack of awareness. The things with emotions, it's like think of the human being at peace, no different than how you would look at your phone. Now your phone is always doing things. It's always keeping track of time, keeping track of the day, running apps in the background, all kind of stuff. That's the human at peace, still functioning, still doing what they got to do. The emotions would be like receiving notifications. This app, bam, did this. This up, you got a message. Up, you got a comment. You got a. That's what emotions are like. Emotions are simply like notifications to either tell you that something is, this is what's happening, or this is what needs to be changed. Oh, I'm going down this slide. I'm having so much fun. That's it. Just make you aware of the fun and the joy you having. It's gonna help to lock in those memories in your brain. And that's just simply gonna help us when you conceptualize it that way and make yourself more aware of it. Then these emotions have less power over you, and you start to be the one to get in control of these same emotions that you've been a slave to for your whole life. So that's what the emotions are there for. They're notifications just to bring your focus. Something needs your attention. They're not something to be dwelled in, not something for you to keep pondering over. It's just gonna sap your energy. That's not what they're for, okay? Another reason why we have a hard time tapping into this ability of controlling our own emotions is because of ego, especially being a man. When you coming up as a little boy, like it's a lot of ego, a whole lot of, oh, gotta show them I'm tough, gotta show them I ain't no punk, gotta show them I ain't backing down, I ain't. It's a lot of ego. The issue is when little boys start to develop that way, they develop into grown men who still have those same problems. Grown men who don't know how to communicate, grown men who don't know how to use their words, and grown men who you can still control them just by tapping into their emotions. Now they gotta, as a grown man, now I gotta show you I ain't no punk. Now I gotta show you I'm tough. Now I gotta show you I ain't backing down, even if the law ain't even on your side. The same proving yourself to whoever you proving yourself to is the same stuff that can land you in jail. Same stuff to put you behind bars. But hey, we just think that's normal. We think that's the way to be because this is how we seen our whoever we were looking up to. This how they behave. This how they acted. This how I've been my whole life, and nobody ever told me any different. Nobody ever told me I could control these things. Nobody ever told me that it was my responsibility to control how I felt. So there you go. That's a whole nother aspect. We already lack of knowledge as well as the ego. And another reason why we get into these issues with not controlling our emotions is probably something a lot of people don't think of. But a lot of times we also lose control of ourselves or let our emotions run wild or a little longer than they were supposed to, thinking that we're endearing ourselves to somebody else. I had, like years ago, my closest friend, he passed away. RIP. He ended up passing away. And after he passed away, I went into a state of depression. I was so depressed at the time, I didn't even realize I was in a state of depression. But I was dwelling in that emotion. And I kept wondering why I never wanted to be around anybody anymore. Why I didn't want to participate in no activities. I would literally have plans weeks ahead of time. Then the day of come, I get dressed up, showered up, shaved, everything. Take off to whatever the event was, whatever the activity was, whatever. And for no reason at all, while I'm halfway there, I would just all of a sudden say to myself, you know what? I don't feel like it. And just turn around and go right back home. And I still, even that being that dramatic, I still didn't realize something was wrong with me. I still didn't realize I was depressed. And this was months and months and months, probably a little over a year after my friend had passed away. And what I didn't understand was part of me felt like by continuing to be sad over the fact that my best friend is no longer here, that's just a testament to how much I loved him. That's a testament to how much I cared about him and how much I missed him. And I was wrong. I was completely wrong about that. Because if he was still here, if he was alive, he wouldn't want me to be down and depressed. He wouldn't want me to be having thoughts about how much easier it might be if I wasn't here. He wouldn't even want that for me. So how can I blame my emotions and my sadness on him not being here and think he would be okay with that? Now I'm misrepresenting our friendship. Now I'm misrepresenting him. But in my brain, I'm thinking, no, it's just a whole nother way of me showing how much he meant to me. That's why I'm this sad. That's why I don't mind being this sad. And that was just something that I had to think on and ponder on and finally come to grips with that, hey, it's okay. Just because you no longer allow yourself to feel as sad, yes, you're still going to be sad that he's gone. Yes, you're still going to miss him. Yes, you're still going to want him back. But allowing yourself to spiral into a depression and allowing yourself to keep feeling these emotions that you don't want to feel and not doing anything about it, that's not endearing you to your friend. And I had to do something about it. But that's also a reason why, even if you mad about something, I had another instance in my life where I wasn't able to see my own children as much as I wanted to. And it was someone else's fault why that was happening. And I was so mad and irritated by this person. I constantly was thinking about all the things I could do to this person, violent, physical, everything. Thinking about all the stuff I could do to this person. And no solution that I came up with would allow me to see my children more. None of them. Actually, all the solutions I came up with only would help in me continuing to not see my children. But I kept on thinking that, no, this is the way I'm supposed to feel and I'm supposed to be mad. These are my children. If I'm not upset that I can't see my children, then that can be taken as, oh, well, you must don't care about your children. And I had to humble myself and take a step back. No, because the whole time you're not getting to see your children. If you do something violent to this person, then they could put the laws in your life, or they could do things that make it so that you lawfully can't see your kids, which is only going to defeat the purpose of me trying to get to see my kids more. And when I just sat and thought about it, I said, yep, the only thing that what I'm thinking of doing, if I do that, the only thing that's going to happen is that's just going to be me expressing how angry and how upset I was at somebody coming between me and my children. That was it. That was all ego, as well as me thinking, no, this is me endearing myself to my children. They don't even know this stuff is going on. They don't even know that I'm trying to see them. They don't even know that people are playing with me and not allowing me to see them. And I just kept thinking, no, I'm supposed to feel this way. I'm justified in feeling this way. Maybe. But at the end of the day, me being mad wasn't serving me. Wasn't serving me at all. I'm just walking around stressed out, angry, about to blow up on somebody else who didn't even deserve it. All because I'm really mad at this person, but I know I can't go put hands on him. So I had to come to grips with the fact that just because you don't allow yourself to be upset about something, that don't mean you don't care. Same with my friend. Just because I don't allow myself to go into a full-on depression because he's no longer here, that don't mean I didn't care about him. That don't mean I don't love him. That don't mean I don't miss him. So we gotta also free ourselves from that mindset of thinking we're showing some type of loyalty or something by allowing ourselves to feel ways that we really don't want to feel. Now that we've done a pretty good job of identifying some of the main contributing factors in keeping us from having control over our emotions and feeling the way we want to feel, let's get into, okay, how do we become a master of our emotions? How do we feel the way that we want to feel? Well, the first step, just like most things in self development, is becoming aware. We're pretty well versed in what our triggers are. One of the things that people don't realize, though, is that a lot of times it's not that serious, it's not that deep. Anything that you disagree with or don't like, or anything that has the potential to trigger you, it's usually one or two things happening. One, either something is not going the way you wanted it to go. Secondly, it can go the way you want it to go. It just didn't happen in the way that you wanted it to happen. Both of those are very easy to deal with, easy to conceptualize. Neither one of them seem that deep. So, with that mindset moving forward, we need to identify what it is about our triggers that makes them our triggers. Whenever something triggers you and it makes you upset, it makes you annoyed, it makes you frustrated, whatever it is, you have to spend time with yourself understanding why this triggers you. What is it about this that you don't like? What is it about the way that it's happening that you don't like? That's the first step, the very first step. And I advise anybody, do not try to work on these things in the environment that's triggering you. No, that's you trying to start it on level 10. Don't, oh, we got to ease into this thing. The recommended way for this is simply when you by yourself. Whether you're at home by yourself, who knows? It could be the home environment that's triggering you. Okay, get out in nature. Go for a car ride. Go for a bike ride. Go for a light walk. Whatever it is, get by yourself and simply think on these things. Think deeply on these things. And be honest with yourself about why do these things trigger me? Why do these things upset me? Is it really that serious? Is it really that deep? That's the first step. After you've identified what triggers you and why it triggers you, the next thing you need to do is find a different way to conceptualize the trigger. It's important to conceptualize these things in a way that's more manageable for our brain to deal with. So if you have something that triggers you, you have to label it differently. You have to speak about it differently. You have to think about it differently. Instead of saying to yourself or admitting to yourself that this is a trigger, instead just label it as, I don't like when this happens. I don't like that. That seems a lot more manageable than this triggers me. This is gonna set me off. Don't do it. You're just giving away all your power and your self-control in that statement. Remember what we said earlier about the child and the way that they're framing things in their brain is what causes them to speak a certain way. It's no different when you're an adult. We have to frame these things in a more manageable way. We have to frame these things as something that not only we have the power to overcome, but that we're going to overcome. And simply keep continuing to label something, this is my trigger, this is going to set me off, this is going to piss me off, this is going to... No, because that speaks to an emotional investment within that trigger. It's like no matter what happens, I can't help but to feel this way. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you're going to get there easier by conceptualizing it in a more manageable way. Simply saying, I don't like when this happens, that's just like a matter of fact statement. There's no emotional investment there. You're not saying I'm so upset when this happens. You're not saying I'm so sad when this happens. You're just saying, oh, I don't like this. I don't like when that happens. In a way, you're minimizing it in your brain, not minimizing it as in, oh, you're silly for even getting mad about that. But in a way, yeah. And just so you guys know, I'm not belittling you. I'm not trying to minimize what you feel like affects you emotionally. This is what I'm saying. Because I know some of y'all probably out there, well, you just don't know. You don't understand. What if somebody said something about your friend? You probably be pissed off. I wouldn't be. Let me tell you why. One of the things that we need to understand is this concept. This is going to be one of the most important concepts to grasp in controlling your emotions. It's no different than when people say, you need to forgive this person. And then they say, you don't forgive this person for them. You forgive that person for you. That way, you don't have to walk around with this baggage. You don't have to walk around with this burden. It's that same concept when it comes to feeling how you want to feel. Just because somebody is trying to upset you, that don't mean you got to be upset. Just because somebody is disrespecting you, that don't mean you got to feel disrespected. And I know y'all probably never heard that before, but that is the truth. Think of it like this. If you know somebody does not like you, they got something against you, they can't stand you for whatever reason, they just want to be the problem in your life. You know that that's what they want. That is their goal. How much sense does it make to give that person who don't care anything about you, how much sense does it make to give them control of your emotions? How much sense does it make to give them control of how you feel? Makes no sense whatsoever. None. Makes no sense whatsoever. So the first step is don't do it. And it's not for them. If somebody's trying to upset you, also hear me about this. I'm not telling anybody to be a doormat. I'm not telling anybody to be a pushover. Just let yourself get bullied. I'm not speaking that. The whole MLK, the whole Mahatma Gandhi and all that. I appreciate those guys. I respect what they did. I respect the messages they delivered and came with. But I am not telling you to just lay down and roll over and let somebody do whatever they want to you. That is not what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The most important thing in controlling your emotions is to simply be at peace. You need time, you need practice on dwelling in peace. Remember what I said earlier, emotions are not to be dwelled in. It don't even matter if it's a good emotion. How many times have y'all been excited about something and you dang near wore yourself out just on sheer excitement alone? Which makes it that much more difficult to dwell in that emotion. You don't have that issue with peace. Peace is a state of being. What we're trying to accomplish is protecting our peace at all costs. That's the main thing that we're trying to accomplish by feeling how we want to feel when we want to feel that way. The default setting is peace. Don't take any energy to be peaceful. Don't take all this thought. It's just take away the importance of certain things in your life in order to be peaceful. I know it gets difficult sometimes, especially with this world that we live in. All of these different stimuli going on. Just you got your stimulus from everyday life, from your job, from what's going on in your phone, your personal life, the TV shows, the social media, all of this stuff makes it a little difficult sometimes to be peaceful. We need to step away from some of those and take time for yourself because yourself and your peace is the top priority. It's what's most important. Getting back to dealing with these emotions and not being triggered by people. Think of it this way. If someone was to, well, this could be your kids, whoever it is, your partner, your parent, whoever you care the most about. If somebody came up to them while you were right there and just slapped them for no reason, I'm talking about one of them, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about one of them. They just slapped them for no reason. In that moment, would you feel upset? Of course you would. Of course you would. Think of it this way though. When somebody asks you, why you beat up that person who harmed the person that you cared about, what do you say? You don't say, because I was mad. You say, because they attacked somebody who I care about. They put their hands on somebody that I love. Because they came over here and put somebody that I care about in harm's way. I was defending the person I cared about. Now just think about that. Think about that. Nowhere do we ever think, oh, I just beat them up because they made me mad by slapping that person. No, you got mad when they slapped that person, but is that the reason you did it? No, it's not the reason. Was it the motivation behind you? No, it was not the motivation. You did it because you loved this person. You cared about this person. You were defending this person. The emotion you felt in that instance was just a consequence of the of this event that happened. But even if you didn't get angry in that moment, ain't you still gonna defend that person? Ain't you still gonna stand up for them? Ain't you still gonna protect them? For all the men out there, when you sleep in the bed and your woman taps you, wakes you up because she hears something going on in the front of the house and you gotta get up to go check. You don't even know what it is that you're walking into. You're not mad at anybody. You're not upset at anybody. The only thing you have, you might even be a little scared. Tell the truth. You might even be a little scared. The only thing you thinking about in this moment is protecting the family, protecting my woman, doing what needs to be done. You didn't need to get all worked up and angry first before you went and saw what the sound was. You didn't need to make yourself highly upset to give you that's like the person who got to get drunk before they want to fight the person that they wanted to fight all along. Oh, you needed that liquid courage. That's what you needed. Otherwise, you'd have never even thought to put hands on this person. That's what that's like. So simply, if I was going to do what needed to be done in this situation anyway, what is the negative emotion I'm feeling in the moment helping me? What is it benefiting me? I've done mixed martial arts and things, and they always tell you in any boxing, mixed martial arts, all of that, they tell you the anger is not going to help you in this. Anger is going to make you only focus on hurting the person in front of you. But your self-preservation goes out the window. Your form and technique goes out the window. You even leave yourself more open and more susceptible to getting counterattacked or leaving yourself open for an attack. Basically making yourself more vulnerable by being angry. So what does the anger benefit you in those moments? It doesn't. You were still gonna do what needed to be done anyway. So why can't you do what needs to be done anyway while maintaining your peace? Because let me tell you this, as a grown up, it's rare that you get to do something to the person that's pissing you off. It's even more rare that you get to do that and the law is on your side. Which means 8 to 9 times out of 10, you gonna get angry with somebody. Y'all probably gonna have a back and forth. Y'all gonna say all kind of disrespectful stuff to each other. Y'all gonna make all kind of idle threats to each other. And then at the end of the day, y'all both gonna go back to y'all separate lives. But the difference is now you got this anger that you worked up in that situation with that person that you're holding on to. And anybody who knows anything about energy, it cannot be created or destroyed. Ain't that what they taught us in science class? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be what? Transferred. So, which means 9 times out of 10, you gonna blow up on somebody who didn't deserve it. Somebody gonna do the usual thing that they do, and instead of correcting them in a proper fashion, you gonna blow everything out of proportion. Yelling at the kids and stuff for no reason. I told y'all quit jumping on that bed. Y'all keep it up. I'm gonna come in there and choke the shit out you. Whoa, sir. That's abuse. Can't do that. And you're not even really mad at the kids that you threatening. You mad at the person that you couldn't put your hands on back when y'all was arguing. So that's what we have to understand. This is about protecting your peace, protecting yourself, even in protecting your peace, you're also protecting your interactions with the people that are in your inner circle. Because they're more than likely going to be the people that you blow up on for no reason. Now you done blew up on them. Now you done talk crazy to them for no reason. Now we gotta let you go for a walk and give you an hour to calm down. Now you gotta come back feeling shameful and regretting. Hey, I apologize for what I said earlier. I shouldn't have did that. I was just been going through something. No, you ain't going through nothing. You just got worked up by this stranger earlier. Let them infiltrate your peace, and this is the result of that. Simple and plain. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. We touched on all the things that we needed to try to touch on as far as becoming a master of your own emotions. We know the obstacles, the hindrances, which is the lack of knowledge, the ego, the trying to endear yourself to people the wrong way, as well as we know how to fix that by becoming aware, by properly putting by making proper concepts and more manageable concepts out of the things that trigger us, as well as knowing that the top priority is our peace. That's the top priority. Yes, we can behave however we need to behave in the situations that call for it. However, we can still do that from a place of peace. Right? And like I always say, whatever it is that y'all want to hear more about, whatever, if some stuff went over your head, if you need a deeper explanation on some of the things that we talked about today, let me know, man. Leave it in the comments. Like I always say, whatever it is, if it's another topic, another subject, if you've seen the old videos and it's some topic you want me to discuss, go further into details about that. Whatever y'all trying to get my input on, leave it in the comments. I'm going to get to it. And just know that controlling your emotions and stuff, it's not hard. It's not difficult. Yes, it's going to take practice. Yes, it's going to take focus. Why? Simply because you've been the other way longer than you've been on this path to trying to control yourself. So it's just gonna take a little time, a little practice, a little focus, but you can do it. That's one of the main things. Know that you can do it. It's within your grasp. It's within your potential to be the person you want to be and to feel how you want to feel. All right. And now, also leave in the comments to let me know the improvements that y'all are making. Send me some videos or something. Show me, give me the confessions, testimonies, all of that. Holla at your boy. Leave it in the comments and let me know. And trust me, we gonna be back.